lesson there, is really do what's right. We could have just sat there and done nothing. We could have just been so narrow focused on what our mission was at the time. Yeah. We would have missed that. And I'm glad we didn't.
Hello, I'm Pritesh Chauhan, and earlier this year I turned 40 and I wanted to do something meaningful alongside all of the celebrating. So I decided to ask my community to support me in helping an underprivileged community and give them a small yet transformative boost. This is how the Rainbow Boosters project was born. In sharing the idea with people, I realized that we all know of a teacher, a family member, a friend, an author, or a singer that has made a profound impact on our life. I wanted to create a space where we can share those stories. So welcome to the Rays of Sunshine series. In the first episode of Rays of Sunshine, we spoke to Navanath Shinde, heard his amazing story and discussed our partnership in this project. On this last episode of the season, I'm really excited to welcome Ray Kimble, founder and chairman of the Kuma Foundation, a dear friend and the third partner in making Kuma Labs and the Rainbow Boosters project a reality. Ray and I met almost a decade ago and have worked together, become friends, and over the last years have been avid supporters of each other. We have worked hard together and partied hard together across the world. And as you'll hear in this episode, we came together to make a real difference in another community. I took this idea of Rainbow Boosters to Ray because he's built an incredible team and foundation, the Kuma Foundation. They believe that all kids deserve a chance at a high-tech future and are committed to ensuring that all students, regardless of their gender, race, or zip code, have access to essential STEAM skills. That's science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. Their programs are designed to empower kids with the tools that they'll need to succeed in the 21st century. And hopefully you can already see how we share similar values and why this partnership works so well on so many levels. This is the last episode in this season of Rays of Sunshine. Thank you for all the support, comments, and feedback. I hope you've enjoyed our conversations and I hope you enjoy this one too. Hi, Ray, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Thanks for jumping on. Where are you right now in the world?
So I'm currently in Virginia. So, a little bit of a distance from you.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, luckily technology has meant that we can have this conversation. Can you tell us who is your ray of sunshine? Who is the person or the teacher that's had the biggest impact on your life? And how did they help shape your future?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so I struggle with this one actually. So there are so many people that have impacted my life in different ways, including you. But I guess if I'm always going to fall back on one, it's probably my grandma. My grandma, she's passed now, but she is Japanese. So not a lot of people know that about me. I'm about a quarter Japanese. Some folks know that like you, but my grandma is 100% Japanese. And with that, brought this kind of, I think really drove my work ethic. The Japanese culture tends to, be kind of quiet, understated, confident, respectful. It has these certain characteristics and qualities that really stick with me, and hardworking. And, she was never kind of given anything. In fact, I imagine, her life was probably pretty hard back then. That she kind of hid from us a little bit. And so that's always, I don't talk about it a lot, and I don't kind of acknowledge it a lot, but when your question really kind of made me think about it, and I just keep falling back on her. And that's one of the reasons why we've named, the Kuma cybersecurity company, the Kuma for-profit, as well as the Kuma Foundation, the nonprofit, Kuma. So Kuma is actually Japanese for bear. And that drives into the logo, and it drives into how we run the organizations and how it's set up, and the characteristics of the Japanese culture we try to bring into how we run Kuma, the Kuma properties. So that's really, I think, if I were going to sum up kind of the key ray of sunshine that's always been there, it would definitely be my grandma.
Nice. I didn't know it went that far. So I know that when we talked about the company name, that it comes from those origins, but I didn't realize it was because of your grandma. So I'm also learning something new, which is great. And actually knowing you and knowing the team, the way you've articulated that it makes so much sense. I see it in everything that you guys do and how you turn up as well. So it is significant in I guess your identity as a company and individual. So powerful that that stayed and that's become such a big part of your life. Kind of leading into that, I tell the story in different places of the calls I made in exploring bringing this project to life, and alongside our friendship, which is such an important and valuable and beautiful thing to me. I called you because you've got those years of experience in this foundation space with the Kuma Foundation. Can you tell everyone that's listening, what it is that foundation does and the work that you do there?
Yeah. So we're really excited about the foundation. So Kuma started out as that for-profit organization, and for, I would say, roughly 3 years, we operated as such. But we really wanted to do more. The work that we were doing for private public companies was great and empowering, and it felt great. But we also had this underlying need, really, to give back to the community. And I know that's kind of it's overstated sometimes in a way, but we did. So we kind of thought about what really drove us and motivated us. And at its core, Kuma has a lot of folks in the company that are really just educators and lifelong learners. And so we thought, okay, how do we help? How do we tap into that? And we landed on the foundation, which at its core, its mission is to help kids, actually just give kids a chance to succeed in the 21st century and to succeed with technology. And the pace of technology nowadays is just, dramatic and ever changing. And not everybody is in the position to take advantage of that or even be exposed to any of that until it's too late. And they're kind of left behind. Even here in the United States, we have millions of kids that don't access, STEM or tech. So, which is surprising. And when I say STEM, I mean science, technology, engineering. Yeah, actually add the A for STEAM, arts and math. The full discipline of STEM is really an area that a lot of jobs are moving into. When you think about those 5 disciplines, they're the highest paying jobs in the world. So it's important that these kids move up. And historically, unfortunately, when you think of STEM and those jobs, it's 4-year universities. It's 6-year universities. It's I know I can break into that field because I have a close circle, or I'm 3 degrees away, or 2 degrees away, or 6 degrees away from from people that are in that field. So it's very easy to comprehend, to see it within reach, and to go there. And for a lot of kids, that's not the case. And like I said, there are millions here in the U.S. that don't have that circle. They see a job rec. I mean, heck, I even see a job rec, and I question if I'm qualified. And it's a hard space to break into.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do is make sure that every kid, whether you go to a 4-year university, 6-year university or not, you're exposed to that technology as soon as possible and as early as possible, so that maybe it's a fit. Maybe you're interested in one of those disciplines, and maybe you're not. So the way that we do that is we set up these key kind of 4 or 5 programs where we give educational training, web-based or in person. And those are your typical STEM activities that a lot of organizations do. Where we change is we really focus on introducing the child to somebody in that career. Yeah. So we, and with the power of tech, you can do that across the board. Anyway. So you have even done videos for our kids here in the United States. So it's so powerful, and it opens kids' eyes to not only an activity or a learning experience, but a person that's been there, done that, and so it's exciting. So we do that as well, and then as well as building labs, which we did in India, and we're doing more in the United States. Yeah. So that's what really drives us. That's the mission of the foundation.
Yeah, I think giving them that fighting chance ahead of time is the thing that really stuck out for me. And I guess I wanted to call out for you and the team, really, like you all put yourselves at a lot of risk during the COVID times. That what you guys did as a foundation and turned up for people and just really getting out to support was unbelievable to watch from here. I think it's just worth telling everyone about it because I found it amazing.
Sure. Yeah. Gosh, obviously that was a hard period for everybody. The Kuma Foundation was going to kick off, I would say 3 months, maybe not even 3 months. That's 1 month before COVID really impacted how we operated. how everybody operated. And our goal was to go into classrooms and help schools, with additional learning and additional information. If they didn't have a STEM program, we were setting it up for them.
Yeah.
If that hit, nobody was worried about how you're going to teach extra information. It was more like, how do you keep the lights on?
Yeah.
Particularly for underserved communities. I mean, it wasn't, oh yeah, let me figure out how to get my child to, an additional class. It was, I just lost my job. So the foundation pivoted hard. We just threw the mission out the window and we said, what does the community need?
Yeah.
And we really focused on, we actually had a local grant here, roughly, 50K or so. Within 6 weeks, it turned into $500,000, and it continued to go up from there. And we were delivering groceries. We were still providing classes here and there, but mostly groceries. We were offsetting missed rent, technology bills, like internet, TV, things that folks couldn't, were just struggling to maintain over the months. We worked with the local county and government to be able to provide thousands of families to get back on their feet. And then we shifted back. Luckily, that work was strong and powerful. The foundation could not have done it without the community. I mean, we had restaurants in the area that were shut down, but opened their doors to keep all of our food, cold, and to maintain everything in storage. And then the community would line up and drive around and deliver this food. I mean, it was, I get choked up just thinking about it. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. So I think the lesson there, is really do what's right. We could have just sat there and done nothing. We could have, played woe is me. How are we going to get these classes into the community? And just been so narrow focused on what our mission was at the time. We would have missed that. And I'm glad we didn't. It was just such an important part.
Thank you for sharing, because there's misconceptions that help for underprivileged communities happens more in the East, and actually everyone saw them on their doorsteps during that period of time. And then there was those that looked out for themselves and those that looked out for others. And I just know that you and the team really turned it around and were true rays of sunshine to people that really struggled in that period of time and that really needed support. So yeah, I think it's fitting that you shared that on this series. Let me take you back quite a few months now, and that call I had with you and Rosie, and I pitched this idea to you. What was it about Rainbow Boosters, even in those early stages, because it evolved quite a lot from where it started to what it became, but what was it around that got you to partner with the campaign and essentially say to me, I'm with you? Like, what was it that you saw and felt that gave you that drive?
Yeah, you. I mean, I'm not saying, it's true. And I have a saying that, people, and this is actually not my saying, but it's one that an old boss used to tell me, but people do business with people, not companies.
Right. And
in particular, people that you trust. So, we've worked together over the years on different engagements, and, I know where your heart is. I know, where your head is. I know, your goals. I know how we can creatively gel and, and really turn out strong work and strong product, and strong programs, that are, and at the end of the day, they impact people. Yeah. They're not just a deliverable. And so, so when you called, one, I was really, pleased and honored and felt, great. It made me feel good that you would reach out to me to have the conversation. It fit squarely in the mission of the Kuma Foundation. So from that respect, that was a real easy, kind of pitch and drive for the board, because it was exactly what we did. Launching what we launched is not easy, as you know, probably even more than I do. But and so just being able to kind of partner on that and just drive that forward with you was a no-brainer from my standpoint. Like, I don't even think I blinked. Like, you said you wanted to do it, let's go. And let's figure out the way. And And so that's what really drove me. I knew that, you wanted to make it happen. I knew the Rainbow Boosters organization, although, different then than it is now, was still going to be successful. And so we wanted to be a part of it and be a part of the team.
I mean, I love hearing those things and get fuzzy feels when I hear people around me talk about things that we do together. It's a really special thing. But I just want to underline something that I talk to a lot of people around, because that statement of I said yes before I blinked is this whole thing of surrounding yourself with people that you trust, that you feel that you can do something with. And, I feel that we have always been a prime example of that. So when I tell people that, or they're trying to figure some stuff out, I'm saying that's what you need to do. Surround yourself with people that just make you feel that way from the go-get, and get you. And I think what helps with that means that when the next thing comes along, you don't have to do all of the foundational understanding, relationship building. You guys are just together and moving through the waves and troughs of each other. And,
Look, you're hitting a topic that I think we probably is a little off script here, but trust. Like, there's a book out there called The 7 Pillars of Trust. I think, I forget who wrote it. But trust equals speed, right? Like, and trust isn't just this term. It's earned. You have to maintain it. You have to persistently provide a consistent experience, and to create that trust. And but what you just said is spot on. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go back to the drawing board. You don't have to make a long pitch. You don't have to you don't have to do all those things. So you can jump right into the engagement and start producing and impacting your audience. And that's key. I love that you picked up on that, because I could go on forever on that topic.
It's so important, and I think it is one of the reasons why we were able to do all the things that we did from different parts of the world, and have the success that we have in Rainbow Boosters and Kuma Labs, because it's built from that place. And I think that is such an important part. And when we talked about replicating, and when we talked about doing other things with other people, it's a component that we have to be conscious about, because if you don't have that in the mix, between you, myself, and Navi, we had this real strong bond, and if you don't have that in the mix, it causes all sorts of problems. So I think it is a real highlight of my experience and yours. I wanted to, it is related. I wanted to tap into it a little bit. You and I have worked together on quite significant international events, which has taken us to all of the corners of the world. And there is always a certain buzz and thrill around those things. The volumes of people, the cities you're in, some of the work sometimes as well can be thrilling. But there was a unique type of feeling that in both the build-up and the opening of the Kuma Labs that I personally hadn't experienced before. How was it for you? I know personally from speaking to you, but can you articulate how it was for you and share your experience in that? Because I feel it was unique to what we do 99% of our day and work.
I kind of, for me, I mean, it was such a powerful experience. And for me, it was because it was not in the United States. It was not in our backyard. And so with that came, just all different kinds of feelings and challenges and wins, really. But then I kind of thought deeper. I was like, okay, well, why though? Why did this feel different than some of the other projects? One is that this was when we've worked for big companies, like we both have, and that brings positives and negatives. And what that really brings, though, is a structure. It brings budget, it brings resources, it brings this implicit kind of I can fall back, or somebody's there to catch. When you do things on your own, and when you're establishing a new organization, or you're maintaining and growing your organizations, you don't have that, right? And so to be able to pull it off, knowing that it was your idea and it happened and it impacted kids, and it's possible. It's hard as heck, but it's possible to do yourself, and that's such a motivating feeling, and a bit addictive. And I want to give everybody that I've been lucky enough to be in a position where I've been able to start up Kuma and the foundation, and with the help of so many people. It's not rocket science. Like, my degree is nowhere near cyber.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to a prestigious business school. I learned along the way from amazing people, and they gave me opportunities, and that's what this whole foundation is about: is giving people opportunities. This is what we're doing with the kids in Pune. So for me, that was that piece that really made it special. Nobody else had the idea, so to speak. Nobody else, knew the population. Nobody else. There was no fallback.
Yeah.
And so that was exciting, and then and then meeting the folks, meeting the teams, meeting you, and working with you again, and meeting Navi and and his whole team. It was just special all around. There was deeper bonds were created than just the work.
The word I'd take out of what you just said was addictive. There was a moment, if you remember, where we landed in India. We drove from Mumbai to Pune, and we had dinner at Navi's house that evening, and we were just all reflecting on the 3 or 4 months that got to that point ahead of anything, the press launch or the launch day. But you could feel it in the room. There was emotion in the room. There was love in the room, and there were tears in the room of shock that we'd done what we'd done, of probably jet lag from getting across from wherever we got to. But in that moment, I'm like, we do these big conferences, we do these big events, we do these big projects and campaigns for other people, which is the choice that we make in working with those organizations. We have the pillars that you talked about, the barriers, the ceilings. And when you do it on your own and you go, oh, I want to do that again, because one, it has so many good outcomes, but two, because of how it makes you feel, to be able to go to work and feel that way is addictive. So I wanted to pick up on that. You talked, I know that it was your first trip to India, having been to everywhere else. I know you have a love for Indian food, because everywhere we go, we end up eating Indian food, as do I. But, when you went back home after that trip, what was it that you were telling everyone? What were the stories that stuck with you?
One was obviously the school. I mean, but I think there were probably 3 stories that really stick out in my mind. One was dinner at Navi's. Actually, you just highlighted it. Navi and I don't believe we had met in person yet, and so we talked on the phone, and we may have done video, but we met for the first time at his house. I mean, come on, that's not typical. I don't here. And so, the invite was, come to my house, let me cook for you and the team, and let's just connect. That was so powerful, and such, we talk about this trust topic again, that is so trusting, and it builds the bonds that you're not going to get just on a 30-minute status update call, or and so I'm really grateful that he opened his doors like that to his family too. It just wasn't the three of us, and so I think that was really powerful for me. That meant a lot, and just had a great time there. So I'll never forget that. I think the second topic was really around, there was a time where we also went out to, lack of a better term, almost like a plantation home, a house, in the country, in the mountains, actually. And we went there as almost like a mini retreat, for half a day, on the limited time we had to relax. And there was a tree plant. We were at a gentleman's house, and you probably have the details of the connections better than I will do now. But we ended up, he opened his doors, and not only that, but the person that owned the home said, "Hey, come out whenever you're in town. Come." And that was really moving. And not only that, but he wanted us to plant a tree there that would always be on the property, and dedicate it to people. And I was able to dedicate it to my kids. And so that was really moving and a powerful gesture. And then the third was around the kids, just at the school. It was just so fun, so interactive. The kids were just the happiest kids. I mean, and the key moment for me was being over the shoulder of one of the children as they typed in their first Google search. That I've used the talking points about making an impact. But until you're there, until you see it, and I've seen it with the foundation, and I've been lucky enough to see it in the foundation in other cases, but that's always moving. And just to see the look on their face when they type in house and they pull up pictures of a house, and it's the first time they've done it. Come on. I mean, it's amazing. And I really hope that, if that inspires you, and kids, getting access to tech and internet and learning and getting in a position where they can succeed in the future. If that inspires you, you gotta, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful.
Yeah.
So those are probably, if I were to pick three, those are probably like the top three kind of moments for me.
So we're not going to talk about your deli belly, no? That's not made your list. All right, we'll not talk about that. That's fine. So we've been in regular touch with the school and the teachers, and we're getting updates. We got an update yesterday as well, and not only are they using the lab that we set up, because that was always the first nervousness, is like, we could do all this stuff if they don't use it. Every child is using the lab for an hour every single day. They now don't want to miss school alone because they don't want to miss out on their interaction and their opportunity, which is great. But you talked about fighting chance, and this is one of the things that came out of the woodwork afterwards. The institution that's partnered up to support the lab delivery has a certification, and that certification happens for children a lot older, maybe 5 or 6 years older, to give them basic digital literacy certification, so that when they want to go to universities or go to big jobs, they can prove that they do that. It's something that the system gives them. These kids are not only now getting that, they're getting it way before their peers are. So they're going to come into that part of their life so far ahead as well. So giving them a fighting chance is just becomes so important. And we're lucky that we have all this stuff. But I think when you framed it as seeing someone do their first Google search, I hadn't thought about it that way. But we can't compute what that must mean to go from nothing to all, have the internet at your fingers. So how does it make you feel seeing that not only have we just put something up, but it's being used, that they're learning, that they really engage, and that they're loving the experience, because it's one step further than what we even probably set out to do.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a critical part to any development / project like this. I mean, it's not just about building it. It's not just about putting a computer there. Anybody could probably do it. When you think about it, can I give a kid a computer? Yes, I can. But it's not about that. It's about a much bigger story. So it's about, yes, step one, get the computers in the room. And a lot of work goes along with that. But the more important part is having them use it. So we do have, a Kuma Labs, program director locally there in Pune that visits the school almost every month, actually, which is great. And they spend a day there, and they make sure the computers are in check. We're just keeping tabs, make sure the kids are enjoying it, using it. The teacher has what they need, and so we don't leave those kids behind, or just leave the computers behind and let them go unused. Mm-hmm. That part that you just hit, to me, is the most powerful thing that came out of this specific project. And I didn't even realize it until we had a post call 2 months ago, like at this point, probably. Yeah. And Navi just said it offhanded. I was like, well, time out. What did you got to rewind. What did you just say? Yeah. That was I didn't realize that. I knew we were helping kids. I knew this was going to change, hopefully change lives. But, knowing that a lot of the population, whether it's public or private, in Pune, outside of Pune, across India, that you're not really getting computer literacy and access, so to speak, until maybe 8th, 9th grade, for comparison here in the U.S. And these kids, we're giving them that opportunity almost, in some cases, 8 years in advance, or 6 years in advance, and that is full stop. Like, people need to comprehend that. That is so powerful, that we're giving them this opportunity 6 years in advance of their peers, so to speak. That's just, it's mind-boggling. It's really powerful, and that is the key, I think, takeaway of this project. It was just truly amazing that we're able to do that, and those kids are able to do it. And I think most projects, need to go in with that kind of end goal, is, what's the true outcome here? What's truly changing? How are you impacting? And that's the key factor for this one.
That we used in this whole thing was conscious giving, and I didn't realize the depth of that term until after the fact. That being connected, the fact that we're currently planning to go back in February towards the end of the year to take my kids, and that constant relationship is where the value is. But what's happening in that is then people are joining and having their own experiences, like the IT Institute that are giving this certification. They were just going to be our support, but they've gone, no, why don't we do this? Because we could get from here to there. Like, everyone's helping move it, and that's the power of that community around this thing, which I just find has made it evolve into this beautiful thing that on paper was good, but it's just turned into being something that's great. You've talked about your plans to extend the Kuma Labs in different regions. Do you want to just share it with us, what that looks like and what your plans are there?
Yeah. I mean, we continue to provide educational experiences and activities to all the kids that are part of the Kuma Foundation. We've recently launched a app to make sure that they stay connected cross-border, and we also are doing the web-based interactions with the professionals, and just so we always maintain the relationship with the kids that we impact here in the States or elsewhere. For Kuma Lab specifically, we're looking to launch a Kuma Lab here in Virginia, which is an organization we've been working with for a number of years, with the exact population we want to help. And then we also have 2 other locations that are looking to be overseas, that we're in communication with. So right now, we're absolutely looking to expand. We're not looking to expand quickly, because, as we know, these projects are hard. To launch, to have the space, just all of the factors that go into it. So yeah, I think it's just continued work, with the foundation. The summer was outstanding, not just from the lab perspective. We started kicking off a whole bunch of field trips where we pay for the transportation for kids, no matter where they're located, to go to local businesses and experience, whether it's wood cutting or music or what have you. We did a number of those this summer, and so it's just the continued work along all those programs.
Yeah, super important. Just, it'll be great to see as those things move on, and be part of as well, no doubt. And yeah, just imagine a future where those kids are all interacting with each other across the world as well, and they've got shared values and shared dreams as well, which is great. Have you picked up a cricket bat since India? Because I've got I've got some fantastic footage of you smacking the ball miles, which won it for us, in fairness. So yeah, I thought it might be something that stuck. No,
it stick. It sticks, and I'm not gonna lie. That video, whoever caught that video was.
They knew who the partners were. Yeah, they knew who was important.
It actually made me look good. Yeah, no, it was that was fun. That was a great time, and to interact with the teachers and the kids and the parents and everybody. That was so fun.
Yeah,
and you're right. I need is it called a bat? Is it a cricket bat? No.
Wow. Yes, it's called a cricket bat. Yeah.
So I need one. I need to put one up in the house.
I think you do. I'll get you one when I go. Cool. So we always ask everyone to share one positive message or quote that has inspired you throughout your life and continues to motivate you. What's yours?
So many quotes, have an impact. I'm an avid reader. I love to take bits and pieces from everywhere and just apply it to a mission. One that I wasn't going to call this one out, but I am now. One I believe is the Roosevelt, quote, "Man in the arena." It's not really a quote, but it's a bit of a speech, and it just talks about how you really you need to be in it, to at least give yourself a chance, put yourself in the middle, and also not criticize from the outside looking in. And so I think that that speech was really impactful for me. In fact, I actually printed it on woodwork and sent it around to all the employees in the company.
Wow.
Everybody has one. So that has inspired me. It's not a quote because it's just, it's a couple paragraphs, but it's really strong. Read it, please. But if I were to create a real small quote, it'd probably be from Walt Disney. He said something around, the way to get started is to stop talking and to start doing. And, I think that's so simple, but it's so true. I wish I could just beat this one up. Like everybody they talk themselves out of things, and I do it too, or it's the paralysis by analysis. You're just constantly thinking of the negatives or the impacts. What could go wrong? How do I overcome? How do I, and you just got to trust yourself and trust the people that you're working with. Falling back on trust again, and that's what it's about. Just jump in, just start doing it. These kids, now have the opportunity to jump in to tech and figure out if they're interested in a space. And the fact that this lab was launched, by one person's idea, yours, us providing some support, and Navi, three different countries, and we didn't meet in person. I mean, you and I have met in person for other things over the years, but not on this topic. And it was 2 or 3 phone calls, and it happened. We didn't have huge budget meetings. We didn't have, all the things that you think you need to launch a project. We didn't have it, and we didn't do it, and we didn't need it. Yeah, and that's what I think the key message is. For me, is it's just to stop, talking about ideas and just jump in, and try it out. And if you fail, you fail. That's okay, but you gave it a go. And so I think that's why I think that quote from Disney and the Roosevelt, story is really what drives me.
Yeah, I'm smiling because any of your team that listen to this as well, the fact that both of your quotes are action orientated is just a true reflection of you. Like if I think of anybody that just goes and gets stuff done, it's you. I always think about that when I, like you said, just overthink stuff. I'm like, what would Ray do? And actually you just crack on and figure it out in the mix. So yeah, thank you for sharing those. I just want to say thanks, one, for taking the time to chat to me, but 2, for your partnership in this whole project, and obviously just being a great friend along this and in general. This Rays of Sunshine series is linked to the Rainbow Boosters project and Kuma Foundation and Kuma Labs. We're supporting underprivileged children by connecting them to the internet and a community to ensure that they don't get left behind in a digital world. You can check out more at rainbowboosters.com. All the links are in the comments below. As I mentioned, this is the last episode in the first season. If you've liked it and you want to hear more stories of wonderful people, then let me know and we'll see about doing another season. If you know of a ray of sunshine and you think that I should invite them on another season, then let me know. But for now, a massive thank you to everyone that's been listening and sharing your thoughts and feedbacks and comments. It's from never having a podcast to then doing something with my friends and family and stuff. It's been a lot of fun. And just remember that a small boost can really transform a life. Thanks so much, Ray, and I'll speak to you soon.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.